Welcome, gentle viewer. We often hear that our country is a nation of laws, and although the statement is not incorrect, it is insufficient. Nazi Germany was a nation of laws, and we would argue that illegal activity during that regime was punished according to the prevailing law. Therefore, to say that a country is a nation of laws states the obvious, as all countries are based on laws, and it conveys nothing. Oftentimes, conspiratorial movies have the scenario that our country has been handed over to a foreign power through illegal means. We must ask, can Congress, by passing a law, nullify the Constitution? Our short answer is yes. And if our country's foundation were the Constitution, then our way of life would be changed forever, just the way of life the Germans changed from the Nazi regime when a Federalist Republic was created. Our country's laws are based on the Constitution, and the Constitution is but one expression of natural law and natural right. The right to protect family and our possessions is not derived from the Constitution, but from natural right. We may say that the Constitution is the physical embodiment of how we Americans express natural right. Natural law and natural right existed before the Constitution, and, in the unlikely event the Constitution is destroyed, natural law and natural right will continue. The only change will be the loss of a historical document. Often in these conspiracy movies, guns are being confiscated, and a character will invariably say they are simply following the law. Firstly, we note that in America, soldiers are not obligated to follow orders that are illegal, and for a soldier to know if a law is legal or not implies the average soldier has a world-class legal mind. Since it is impossible for our military to be composed entirely of legal scholars, there must be a way for the average soldier to know within reason if an order is illegal. This basic standard must not be the ability to discern legal reasoning. The standard must be morality, or the ability to distinguish good and bad behavior. Whether the average soldier knows that this morality is derived from natural law is irrelevant. Except for a handful of examples, morality can be understood as a way which something is done. The general researcher can compare the morality of a nation of cannibals to a nation of non-cannibals. Since a nation of cannibals has never been documented, we infer that the morality of cannibalism is not conducive to a successful nation. As we do not like uncertainty, we will clearly state our opinion of morality. Any behavior that infringes upon life or liberty is immoral. Secondly, our laws are deemed to be legal and legitimate until overturned by the courts. Therefore, a law to confiscate guns is in effect legal until it is declared illegal. Of course, no human law nullifies natural right or morality. What prevents Congress from invalidating parts of the Constitution and the subsequent enforcement of these laws? The disconcerting answer is our informed fellow citizens and our informed armed forces. If the vast majority of people have the opinion that our nation is a democracy based on laws, then it follows that all laws are legal. Based on these opinions, an illegal law is impossible. However, for people who understand and appreciate that this country is not a democracy, but a republic, and know our rights and laws are derived from natural right, not from any legislature, also know that not only illegal laws can exist, but there are numerous examples in our nation's history. We sometimes hear the conventional wisdom that no one is above the law. We note that the law is not defined, and the implication is the law should be blindly followed without thinking or reasoning. Of course, those who know natural law know their natural right is above man-made laws. Fantasy movies that involve a plot to destroy our Constitution are only possible when the viewer suspends disbelief. This suspension of disbelief on the part of the viewer must include two parts. Firstly, the majority of Congress, of law enforcement, of the military, and of citizens do not know natural law and the basic morality derived from it, and secondly, that all laws are legal. In the unlikely real-life scenario that the vast majority of all four groups are in agreement, this agreement does not invalidate natural law. Please keep in mind that we Americans have diverse opinions, and since we cannot agree on the spelling of certain words, or the pronunciation of other words, it's highly unlikely we will agree to void the Constitution. Conspiracy theorists enjoy repeating the vague phrase, a New World Order. The New World Order is oftentimes said to be the exclusive goal of the Illuminati, a group that secretly invaded reading societies in the 18th century and were supposedly behind the French Revolution. The original Latin version of A New Order for the Ages is a motto found on our currency, along with the phrase, He has favored our effort. On one hand, we have the Illuminati, a small secret group that infiltrates any number of larger groups for supposedly nefarious goals. On the other hand, we have the Founding Fathers who publicly declared their intentions, and many members wrote extensively on the Revolution. One group hides their light under a basket, the other proclaims it to the world. Yet both groups share the same motto. What could the phrase, "a new order for the ages," mean when viewed with the phrase, "he has favored our effort"? We speculate that the previous ages of mob rule, of kingship, and of religion have been replaced by one based on natural right, based on man's value as man. The goal of a society not held together by ignorance, fear, or superstition, but upon reason. In conclusion, we must ask, has he favored the Founding Fathers' efforts? To answer this question, the general researcher must ask, firstly, does the idea of the divine right of kings to rule and dictate behavior still remain valid today? Secondly, does the belief that the priest class has the divine right to rule and dictate behavior still remain valid today? Does man as man have value that is independent from being a subject to the crown? Does man as man have value that is independent from being a subject of the church? As always, the gentle researcher will reach his own conclusions concerning the phrase, "a nation of laws," whether the U.S. is, in fact and not in name only, a new order for the ages, and finally, if he, over the previous 2 centuries, has approved our efforts. If the general viewer enjoyed our discussion, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel.